John Lambton, the wayward heir to the Lambton estate, had always been a restless and rebellious youth. His father, a noble lord, despaired at his son's reckless ways, fearing his indulgence in mischief would bring ruin. One fateful Sunday, while the villagers attended church, John ignored the sacred customs and wandered to the river Wear with his fishing rod, seeking adventure rather than penance. Hours passed without a single catch, and his patience wore thin. Just as he was about to abandon his efforts, his line jerked violently. With great effort, he reeled in a hideous, black-scaled creature, its slimy body writhing like a monstrous eel. The creature had glaring red eyes and tiny, hooked fangs that dripped venom. It hissed and coiled in his hands, sending shivers down his spine. Disgusted, John tossed the loathsome thing into a nearby well, dismissing it as an ill omen. Unbeknownst to him, the creature would grow, unseen, into a horror beyond imagination. That very evening, John departed on a journey to the Crusades, seeking redemption for his wayward ways, unaware of the darkness he had left behind. Years passed, and the forgotten well became a cursed sight. The creature, nourished by the darkness within, grew to an enormous size. It had transformed into a fearsome worm-like beast, slithering from its prison to wreak havoc on the land. It devoured livestock, drained the rivers, and left a trail of destruction in its wake. The villagers cowered in fear, helpless against its insatiable hunger. No weapon could pierce its hide, and each time it was wounded, it healed instantly. The beast coiled itself around a nearby hill, marking its dominion over the land. The people prayed for deliverance, but none came. The once prosperous lands of Lambton fell into despair, their lord powerless to protect them from the terror he did not understand. The legend of the Lambton worm had begun. The Lambton worm became the bane of the land, an unstoppable force of ruin. It terrorized the villages, devouring sheep and cows whole. None could approach without falling prey to its wrath. Many brave knights ventured to slay it, only to be crushed within its coils or swallowed in one horrifying gulp. The creature's body regenerated from wounds, making it impervious to swords and arrows. It demanded sacrifice, and the villagers, desperate to survive, left offerings of milk and livestock to sate its hunger. Word of the beast's tyranny spread across the land, reaching even distant kingdoms. But none could offer a solution to the curse that plagued Lambton. Only one man could undo the evil, but he was far from home. After years of war, John Lambton returned home a changed man. Hardened by battles and burdened by guilt, he sought to reclaim his place and right his past wrongs. But what awaited him was a land in despair, ravaged by the very creature he had cast away years ago. Horrified, he listened to the villagers' tales of suffering. His father, now an old and broken man, wept at the sight of his son, hoping against hope that John would be their salvation. Determined, John sought counsel from a wise old woman who revealed to him the creature's secret. The beast could only be slain if he forged a special suit of armor covered in razor-sharp spikes. But there was a cost, a solemn vow he must keep. John donned the deadly armor and stood upon the battlefield, waiting for the beast to come. The worm emerged from the river, its grotesque body undulating toward him with a hiss that shook the ground. The battle was fierce. The beast wrapped its coils around him, but its own strength became its undoing. As it tightened its grip, the spikes of John's armor pierced its flesh, preventing it from healing. The creature thrashed and writhed, roaring in agony as its lifeblood seeped into the earth. With one final strike, John plunged his sword into its skull, ending the terror that had plagued the land for so long. As the worm lay dead, the people rejoiced, hailing John as a hero. But he remained grim, remembering the wise woman's warning. He had been warned. He must not slay the first living creature he saw upon his victory, or his family would be cursed for generations. Yet fate was cruel. The first to greet him was his father. overcome with joy. John could not bring himself to strike his own kin. The curse remained unbroken, and the Lambton bloodline would suffer for his mercy. Though John had saved the land, his family was never free. Strange misfortunes befell the Lambtons. Untimely deaths, lost battles, and unshakable sorrow. Legends whispered that the worm's spirit still haunted the hills, watching, waiting. Even in death, the curse of the Lambton worm endured, a warning to those who would defy the natural order and awaken forces beyond their control.
The tale of the Lambton worm teaches that one's actions, no matter how small, can have lasting consequences. Recklessness and defiance of moral duties can unleash destruction, and even the bravest efforts to amend mistakes may not erase their impact. Responsibility and wisdom must guide every decision, for fate is unforgiving.